Hi, this is Scott Schrader, and this video is the first in a series about Hebrew colors. I noticed that when we looked at uh, words, numbers in Hebrew, and many have derived meanings from those numbers, that they weren't exactly correct, that they were more uh, down the line from what the actual meaning was. For instance, the number 5, we always connect that with grace, but it actually means revelation. And because there is revelation, that means that there's hiddenness, and because there's hiddenness, there's grace. So it's kind of down the stream from what the actual meaning is. And so I wanted to do a series on the Hebrew colors to kind of look at what they actually mean in the Hebrew, so we have some real more of a solid base to go by what these colors actually mean. And we're going to start with the first color, which is red. And as we go through the study, you'll see that's kind of apropos that we start with red. The word for red is Adom. And that might sound a little familiar to you. It kind of sounds like Adam, Adam, which is mankind. Adam was taken from the earth, the red earth or the ruddy earth. And so he was called red, basically. Mankind and red are the same word, or come from that same root, same letters, different vowels. The word comes from the first two letters, which is odd. Odd is mist, which means to surround or to dominate. And we'll see this kind of theme with red throughout the scripture, at least what we're going to cover here today. The letters meaning leader of the door, or leader to the door. And we'll see in Adam, it's the leader to the door. It comes from the womb. And so mankind comes from the womb. And so he's the one that was given to dominate. Adam was told to dominate all the animals and to subdue the earth and to replenish it. And so he was given domination. We see that theme. The word Adon actually has these first two letters as well, which is the word for Lord. And we see this noon on the end here. This is an ending noon. That means the inheritance or the seed. And so the Lord, when someone is your Lord, or something is your Lord, it brings an inheritance that grows. It's a seed that grows, and it brings an inheritance, which can be either good or bad, depending on who your Lord is. If the Lord is a good Lord, then it brings a good seed. It brings a good harvest. It brings a good inheritance. If the Lord is a bad Lord, it's going to do the opposite of that. And so we see that domination in the word Lord as well. And so now we go down here to Edom, another name of Esau. And Esau was red and hairy, and so he was called red. And Edom, his kingdom was Edom. And it's interesting that he was the dominator. If you remember, Jacob and Esau, they wrestled in the womb, and who came out first? Esau did, Edom. He dominated, and Jacob grabbed his heel and was pulled out. But interestingly enough, on down the line, this same man was dominated, you could say, by his appetites, but by Ha-Adom, which is the red stew, or the red pottage that he was given to eat. So he was the dominator, and he was dominated in the same color. Red has the same idea. And so Esau, he was the one he was the leader with the Aleph, okay, the leader to the entrance or door of the womb. And so he was the one that came out first. And actually, the closed mem is a closed womb, so he was the firstborn. And then Esau was taken down and dominated as well by that red stew. We see sometimes the red eyes are talked about as from wine. Actually, that word is not the same word, not the same root. It means to be dull, or we might see Red Sea. That's actually the Sea of Reeds. Suf is that name. It has two meanings. One's the Egyptian meaning, which means Sea of Reeds, and it's reeds, or it can be sea at the end, which is more of a Hebraic, Aramaic meaning. So I guess when we come down to it here, as far as red goes, the question that we kind of have to ask ourselves is, what is the red in our life? What is dominating our life?